welcome to the Friday edition of Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Justin, and John, and an absentee Kiki because David is home playing Diablo today, unlike those of us who have to work, and Kiki appears to have abandoned me. Kiki! Kikers! Come say hi, Kikers! Come say hi! There we are! Yay! A delayed Kiki with a paw and a lick. A delayed Kiki. There we go. All right. You're back on daddy duty now, okay? You have to make sure that the demons don't eat him, okay, Kiki? Okay? It's a very serious job. All right? It's very serious. Can you handle it? Can you handle it, Mama? Ah! She's like, the demons won't eat you, but I will. I will. Ah! Attack of the Giant Puppy. Such a giant puppy. Such a giant puppy right now. So giant, so puppy. Yeah, so giant, so puppy. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, I can officially start my stream because there's a Keeker. Right, Keeker? Okay, you ready? Ready to go guard Daddy from the demons? Yeah, okay, let's go. Let's go make sure he's okay. Okay, oh, you can go there. I'm going to close this, okay? I'll be back. She's like, whoa, what is this deal? Hopefully we won't get an echo. Hold on, I'll fix my door. There we go. All right. Hopefully I have enough drippy cloth so that it's not too echoing here without the, there we go. There. Without the keeks, or without the door open. Sometimes it gets a little echoey. So, yeah. Whee! Hi, everybody. Yeah, David did take the day off to play Diablo today because addict. I played a little bit last night, but he's like, I'm level 9. He's level 30. So, yeah, it be like that. It do be like that today. How are y'all doing? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. What do we want to do today on her? You know what? I like her hair, but I really don't like her. I want more highlights on her face. So I think I'm going to actually work on her face today and maybe even her eyes. Kind of feeling that way. We did the, we set up a bronze last time and we worked on the white. We decided on silver for the shield, which hopefully I won't regret. Part of me even now wants it to be gold, but maybe we'll just, we'll run with the silver and see. But yeah, I think I want to work on her face a little more today and then maybe some leather. Yup. It be that way. It be that day. I made good progress on my book yesterday on the rewrite. I had to pretty much write a whole chapter from fresh, and when it's been a while since you do raw writing, I just and just coming off of two weekends out of town. I don't know, but do you guys, when you're in the middle of a project and you have to take time off, do you find it really hard to get back into it? Like I'm noticing these days, I need my rich leather. Noticing these days that when I take like a long period off of writing, I have to really work to get back into it. Oh no. Oh no, network impairment. Oh no. Of course, Quindy. Yeah, I've never, it used to be that I was a seasonal writer. Like I actually was, and it was probably because of Nano, right? Because I was so used to writing in the fall. I was so used to getting excited for writing at NaNoWriMo, which is in November. I would start gearing up and getting in a writing mindset, like is it the end of August, early September. And then it would last all the way through January, February. And then I would just pretty much take 6 months off. Like, that's really how my cycle used to be. But since I published, like, I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I want to keep moving. Like, I really want to. I don't feel the need for that break anymore. Maybe it's because because in the old days, like, writing wasn't my focus, and I had a lot of other things to distract me. And these days, I've cleared the decks a lot. Could be. So what we did for this, I wanted kind of a Latinx skin tone. And I do a mix of, when I want that skin tone, I do a mix of rich leather and tan skin. So let me get in focus here. I'm not going beyond my internet's dead. Yep. Yep. Justin will have to work. You're a momentum painter. Yeah. So for see, because technically, if it was momentum, Dogfather, like you can have momentum from painting daily, right? So there's a couple different types of momentum, right? So what you're describing maybe is that it takes you longer to get into a good creative flow, which is true of a lot of people. And sometimes that can be me as well. Like I can't, for painting, I can sit down for 20 minutes. For writing, I find it really hard. Like I can if I have to, but it doesn't really help me. Like it doesn't, you have no time to ramp up, right? So if your brain is the kind of brain that wants to kind of settle into the creative flow state, and needs a while to do that, then yeah, absolutely 20 minutes not good, right? It's just another. Yes. Yeah, I'm a big routine person as well, Agent Marvel. Yeah, I'm realizing that. See, back in the long ago Anne days, I did not understand that about myself. I did not understand that having the same routine every day actually would help me be a more productive person. Like a lot of people consider that just boring, having the same routine every day. But I thrive on it. So yes, who are you to argue with the universe? Exactly, Quindy. The universe gets its way every once in a while and inadvertently gives you a night off. So yeah, let's mix these about half and half. But yeah, so there's nothing that says that just because you've done something a given way all your life, there isn't a better way. Like, never think that, because I'm getting a real lesson in that these days. Once I took the strengths thing and kind of realized that I was hamstringing myself on a couple of fronts, and I started giving myself more time to like think about my writing the night before, and I started giving myself, getting into a set routine where I sit down and work at a particular time every afternoon after the stream. And bye, Crowley. Oh no, we have very abbreviated hamster today. Very abbreviated hamster. Yeah, there's nothing, just because you're into routine doesn't mean that you can't appreciate spontaneity. It just means that to be productive, your best work, your best productivity is with a day that you can predict. Like me, if I have a disruption in my day, you may as well kiss it goodbye. Like I might get little fragmentary things done, but I have learned that I have to be nice to myself. I can't criticize myself for like being thrown by my routine being disrupted, because it's just the way my brain is. Like I can complain about it all I want, but it's not gonna change the fact that a disruption really impacts my productivity. And if I have my expectations set unrealistically that I'm gonna have a productive day, when I know there's a disruption, I'm just asking to be mean to myself, right? I'm just being mean to myself, because there's no way myself can reach that goal, that expectation. So it all comes back again to be nice to yourself a bit. All right, I want to highlight more highlights here. So I mixed up a base skin tone again. It's that color. It is a 50-50 mix of these two colors. I just experimented a lot. I had I had to kind of analyze Latin skin tones for a coaching a while ago. And this was the mix that I came up with that I liked the best. So I just wanted to give her a slightly different skin tone. And I decided to play with this. I think I'm going to highlight it by mixing in Osirian Sand, though. I want a little bit more golden. And sorry, it's an allergy day. I probably need to blow my nose. Very congested today. Is Kuruniko here today, or is she, I think she works on Fridays, doesn't she? We don't have our Kuro. All right, so this is a very light color. So I'll probably have to thin it down a bit. Maybe do a little bit more, put a little bit more of my base coat in there. Remember, whenever you add white, you always have to thin it down more. Especially for skin tones if you want anything to blend. And this is still only a 1-to-1, so it's still got too much body probably, but I'm going to put a little bit more of my base color in there, darken it just a little. That's a little bit better. So my difference there is these, but now I can actually take a brush full of these and this and pop it back here. There. There's a good succession, and then I can pop a little bit more over here and lighten it even more. Yeah, well, right now I'm about to, having made a comment on how my allergies are acting up, yes. Well, and that's, what I find, Quindy, is that I can remind myself, but I need to make it a habit. Like, it's my Todoist app is a habit to look at it every day. But I also do things like leaving things obvious. Like I just told David, it's like, I have 2 miniatures sitting on the counter here. Don't think that they're accidental. They're here because it will remind me to prep them for the stream for Monday. So I do things like that. I read the Power of Habit book a while ago, and what lasted in my brain is 2 things. Is one, if I'm going to start a new thing or remember to do a thing, I need to piggyback it off of something I already do, or I need to make it very obvious. I need to leave myself a visual cue. So I'll leave a sticky note with a note on it just on the counter so that I see it when I walk by and think, oh yes, I have to unload the dishwasher. Right? So I'm very good at leaving visual cues for myself, and I'm very good at, if I need a habit, if I need a routine, I'm pretty good now at piggybacking it off of another habit. Like I was just thinking I need to start putting some weights training into my exercise routine. So I've been trying to figure out when I want to do that and how I'm going to put a visual trigger out to get myself to do it every other day. I mean, it's more than a subliminal reminder. It's a slap in the face reminder, right? Because you walk by. If I need to take something out of the fridge, I put the note on the counter right where I always look. When I'm coming out, when I'm moving through the kitchen, right? So making it obvious. Sorry, allergies have been really bad lately for me. I've been having to take a Benadryl a day, in addition to my Zyrtec. Because the trees are trying to kill me. All right, there we go. Ugh, sorry about that. Okay, so we've got a triad. Let us do this. But yeah, it's like if you want to remind yourself, like, or if you're trying to do a habit, leave that sticky note out so you always see it right where you need it to be, like, to trigger you to do the thing at the right time. Because if I don't have a visual reminder, and say it's the weekend, I don't check my Todoist app on the weekend typically. I'm not nearly as good about it, whereas during the week I'm very good about it. Because if there's something special that's going to happen on a day, I always have it on the Todoist app. So I'm kind of gotten myself in the habit of checking it. All right, and that's too light, so I need to thin it. So even though these paints are thin, and you can see it, they're not thin nearly enough. So I'm going to drop another drop of water in each one. And that's probably still not enough, but we'll see what I can do with it. Yeah. Yep. So that's why you should get up right now and get some sticky notes out of your office supply cabinet, ostensibly to use here, but actually to take home with you, Quinny. Maybe if I remember, if I could put it on my to-do list. Now this is terrible, but I could put it on my to-do list to remind Quindy to put something on her to-do list, or to remind Quindy to get sticky notes so she can make a to-do list, or something like that. I think that's too meta. I think that, you know, getting another person to be your to-do list is just, it's too far beyond for me. I'd have to remind you. It's too bad I can't auto set up Discord reminders. Anne's auto reminder service. I could make some money off of that. Anne, who is organized, will remind you to do things for one small fee. Her jaw is really recessed, so it like doesn't make like, you gotta highlight it just to make it stand out, but it's a hard call. See, even this little bit of highlighting is helping. Sure, her face just was not working for me. That's a little better. But now I'm seeing her features better, so this is good. Because Quindy desperately needs a reminders of things. And I didn't trust her to remember to dig out her Post-it notes at home, so I was reminding her to steal some from work. Which may not be ethical, but it's practical. And this is why I'm chaotic good, folks. Good intentions, questionable methods. This is why I'm chaotic good. Not moral, but practical. All right, I want a little bit of a lighter highlight now. Just a little bit more. Also, Post-it notes are freaking expensive. I mean, there's got to be like a whole like culture that's just like me in out there that uses Post-it notes obsessively for reminders and drives up the price of Post-it notes because Post-it notes are ridiculously expensive. I used to know how to make them myself, but it's not as satisfying as getting one of those nice, perfect little packs. Yes, exactly. They came from somebody else's office. Yeah, right. I do order them myself on occasion, and I always resent it because they're always too expensive. But I live by my Post-it notes. Like, you guys, when I'm like editing my books, like as I go through, like after I'm done with a section, like in my chapter yesterday, I took my walk at night and I'm kind of like mulling it over and I realize I've forgotten something or that I should put something in or I think of a cool idea to add to a set of dialogue. And what I do is scribble that down in a Post-it note and then throw it onto the top of, like, I've got this just, like, solid pack of, like, Post-it notes that I've stuck down to the top of my journal, my writing journal. And then when it comes time to do that next edit, I'm going to sort out those Post-it notes in order. And then as I work through the book, I'm hitting each of the Post-it notes. So it's like, I could, like, do this so much more efficiently. But for some reason, I love, like, tons of multicolored Post-it notes just, like, sprinkled all over the place. No, I'm not that anal, Bryce. I try. I try. I wish I was that anal. It would help, wouldn't it? It would help. But no, it's not. It's chaos. I'm chaotic. I hate it. Like part of me desperately wants to be lawful. And the rest of me just knows that it's chaotic. Bye, Crowley. But yeah, I used to try to color code, and the problem is that when I'm working, when I'm writing, and I get that idea, I don't want to stop and think about what, how I'm color coding my Post-it notes. I just want to get that idea written down so I catch it. I need to capture it. Capturing is more important than organization for me. I get some enjoyment actually about going through those masses of Post-it notes and like sorting them out in a linear order and then hitting the book. Like there's something immensely satisfying about organizing those chaotic Post-it notes, but because yeah, it's the capture of the idea that I'd make top priority. Can always sort it out later. Oh, that's just way too close to the eye. I'm going to have to go and fix that. So I'm bringing up, you can see how I'm bringing up the upper part of her face. Her bangs come really low over her brows. And I do need to darken in her eyes again. So I'm going to grab walnut for that. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea, Pendrake. But you ever notice, okay, let's just complain a little bit, because it's humanity, right? Humanity and complaining go hand in hand. Have you ever noticed that, you know, when you ask for like practical things like that you would actually enjoy, everybody is like, no, that's too boring. Nobody wants to get you that. Man, my hair is just like stuck today. There we go. But yeah, so that's the problem. Like if you were to actually say to your relatives, I really love Post-it notes and I would love Post-it notes for for Christmas, your relatives would go, that's so weird and boring. I'd rather get you something else. How about some nice socks? Oh, no, you will not remember what they mean, Quindy. Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, wow, Agent Marvel. So nobody realized they could take the pretty notebooks, and so now you have tons of pretty notebooks. I mean, I could think of worse things. I can think of worse things to be stuck with. Oh, really, buddy? Man, I wish that my loved ones would understand that I love Post-it notes and want all of them, but but for some reason, like, it's always like, It's like I actually enjoy getting socks. Like, my mom somehow has this superpower of hunting down the best warm socks for winter. Like, she always has these incredibly warm, comfy socks that she gives me. Like, she gave them to me, like, a year here and a year there, and I just told her, I'm like, flat out, Mom, I love socks, and I especially love warm, comfy, fuzzy socks, and you find the best warm, comfy, fuzzy socks. So you should just assume that if you need something to get me for Christmas, get comfy, warm, fuzzy socks, and I will be fine. Saves you buying them. Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, man. Oh, password on a Post-it. Yeah, right. Yes, clearly you'll remember. Yeah, right? The superpower of finding the best socks. It's a pretty good superpower. We only appreciate socks as we get older, I think. Although, you know, to be fair, I had friends who had pretty good fashion socks when I was younger, so I guess some people just have sock empathy. There. My highlight went a little bit too high, so I need to bring her face. But look at the difference, right? Between that side of her face and this side of her face is just, the highlights are coming up much nicer. But yeah, I do love my Post-it notes. But yeah, I do write. I'm pretty good about writing down what it is, because I have learned over the years that I will not remember if I do not make a full notation. So there is a minimum that I have to write down on my Post-it note for it to make sense. So I have to write the character's name, then usually I write the bit of dialogue, or you know, so-and-so tells blah X, right? So they're short notes, but because, and this happens often while writing, and it's why any writer worth their salt will tell you that the real work of writing is editing. But after you write your initial scene, you almost always get a better idea for it. Like, you're like, oh, he should say this, and that will give us a lot more, like, tension in the scene. It'll be much more interesting, right? That kind of thing. So a lot of that stuff, some of it comes to you in just moments of brilliance when you're writing. Like, sometimes you're just in the groove and you're in your characters, and your characters are, like, you know, having a moment, and they just say these amazing things that you could never have thought of by yourself. But But other times, like, when you're not necessarily, like, all in, but you're still writing, maybe it's a little rougher if you're having a rougher day as a writer. It's like painting, like, it's like just deciding to base coat something when you're a painter. I'm just going to base coat this because I really don't know where I want the other part of this to go, that kind of thing. But then afterwards, you get a great idea for, like, how to improve the scene. And that's the kind of thing I have on my sticky notes. That and just plain I forgots, right? Like, I have this scene, but then I remember, oh, dang, this character doesn't know the other character's name, right? Or this, you know, the person they're referencing. This character needs to know this fact. And I totally forgot, like, the flow of the conversation just didn't lead there. So then I have to go back and put that in. That kind of thing. Yeah, there's some cool socks out there. No question. So I actually did put a little bit of a line around the mouth. You can see it right there, like just around this area. And that's going to give her a much more angry and serious look. But her brow is kind of glowering, so I kind of felt like I wanted that. I often tell you guys not to watch this kind of thing because it can make the face look older. See that crease on the side of her mouth? But when you want to have a face like scowling, or you do want to age a face a little bit, so maybe she's not very young, maybe she's not as young as we might have thought, then keeping that line, that dark line off the side of the nose, and usually I'm not painting that line in, it's just the base coat, and I'm highlighting around it. So I'm bringing that out by highlighting the area underneath the nose and above the upper lip, which you do want to highlight on anyway. And then I'm just highlighting that crease of muscle that goes around there. So that can just make the face much more haggard and serious. So I decided I wanted that for this character. I don't often do it, but I like it on this character. All right, now I gotta get to the other side of the face. It's always annoying when their heads are turned this way because it's so hard to get at the other side of the face. But I am liking this. I'm gonna end up glazing because my highlights are a bit strong. But in the meantime, let us get some highlights over here. I've just been staring at the skin, not really liking it much for several weeks now, so I was like, today's the day. Today is the day. That's the other reason I feel like I need to not lose my momentum when I'm writing, because when I'm working on the manuscript every day, I get lots of good ideas for upcoming scenes, but if I take time off, my brain moves into other subject matter, and it doesn't come up with the cool ideas for future scenes. So I'm trying to get that side of the face. We don't need to do a lot. And of course it happens in painting too. Like you can sit and kind of like just paint something, or you can like, and then you go to bed, you wake up and you have such a good idea for what to do with another part of the model, right? So it happens in all creative pursuits where you get that inspiration where you're like, ooh, I could do this. Yeah. It's just with characters, with writing, it's scenes and characters and dialogue, and painting, it's colors or freehand, or there we go. That's better. I feel like I've got just a little bit too dark of a line up here. I'm going to try to bring up a little bit of her forehead. There. So David pointed out to me today that, because we kind of had that thing, because for a while David was winning Best in Show a lot here at our local con. But he actually didn't win this year. So he pointed out that meant that he and I could both enter next year. Because I didn't go to the con this year. I was at the puppy eval. And he went, but he didn't win. No, painting styles. All right. Oh, I love style. Style is a bunch of things, Pendrake. Style is a combination of how you actually mechanically apply the paint, because like the type of brush stroke that you are drawn to is part of your painterly style. The colors that you tend to be drawn to are part of your style. Your method for shading and highlighting, like if you do like very minimal shadows and really broad highlights, for example, that's going to give your miniatures a particular look that's different from people who don't do that. That's part of your style. Yeah, David's bust was really nice, but what's his name who won the Best in Show? I can never remember his name. Dang it. But yeah, had a really cool big child piece too. So painting style is a combination of mechanical and like color choice and lighting, like how you employ light on the figure. Like if you look at David's work next to my work, you can instantly pick out an Anne model versus a David model. Although as we are now married, and we all know what happens to married couples, David's work is starting to draw closer to my work. In fact, I feel like his bird lady that he entered, Bryce, at Kubla, was very Anne in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like his style is pulling closer to mine, and I'm starting to push more of my highlighting and do more directional lighting. So my style, you look like your dog. If I look like my dog, I'm going to end up beautiful. I'm cool. Luckily, neither of us looks like Kiki yet, although we are accumulating a lot of her fur, so. But yeah, so I'm starting to do more dramatic lighting, and David is starting to do more like almost fine work. Like he's starting to be more naturalistic. He's going away from stylism, more toward naturalism on a lot of his pieces. So now our styles are like converging. I think it's funny. But yeah, so just to give you a for instance, Pendrake, if you look at David's models, you see, like, especially his work, prior to Anne, but his work prior to Anne, you see a focus on very strong frontal lighting. You see a very, a painterly approach where you see a lot of brush strokes, but they're roughly defining textures. So he doesn't go in for a lot of like smooth blends necessarily. He wasn't being into freehand. So yeah, styles converging. I know David and I like have talked about the fact that we could rule the world if we could manage to collaborate meaningfully. So yeah, we're getting closer to collaborating. We'll see how it goes. We're going to collaborate actually for this year. I need to remind him he needs to print. We have a Clint Eastwood bust to paint my brother for Christmas. So but anyway, so David's stuff is kind of defined by that. He also really likes specific color combos. He likes like orange and teal or red and teal. He's far more into primary color triads. Like he's far more into the red, yellow, blue. He does not do a lot of secondary colors. He hates green, with the exception of lighting effects. Like his Alchemist does have green on it, but if he uses green, it's never muted. It's always a punch you in the face green. And so all those things kind of define David's style, and he's more stylistic than I am with the strong frontal lighting. He wants the light to be like really there, to really look like real, but he overemphasizes it for that. Whereas I'm much more likely, if you look at an Anne model, I'm much softer on my highlighting and shading. I'm not as stark. I almost never do a single frontal light source. I almost always do dual light sources. I do a lot of really fine micro detail on my pieces. That's what I enjoy. That's what I'm drawn to. Whereas David is far more likely to block in detail and then just kind of rough it in and kind of blend it as much as he needs to, but only enough to convey the light and color. And so David's more impressionistic in a way in his painting style. He's not like just throwing blobs of paint on the model, but he's able to do that much more impulsive paint style, which means he can block in models super fast and they still look amazing. It's just when you get close, you see that it's unfinished, and then that's what his refinement process is to then finish it more. So whereas I tend to paint in pieces, and I tend to like push each piece, and then integrate at the end. Yeah, I think you and I have similar styles in a lot of things. But I also go for freehand. David is allergic to freehand. He's not allergic, and when he does freehand, it's really good, but he hates it. Whereas I enjoy doing the fine texture and the fine detail and the freehand. David, that's the part of painting he doesn't enjoy. So that makes our miniatures look very different, and it means that when you look at my miniatures, you have a pretty good, if you've looked at my work for a while, you have a pretty good option of recognizing my work. No, though, as you go through the course of your career, things change, right? So if I show you Jennifer Haley's work from 2 decades ago, it's very distinctive. She uses a lot of muted colors and a lot of broad highlights, not a lot of darks. And she's like, got this tight style, but with really broad highlighting. And she does a lot of pastels. She does a lot of muted. Now she's evolved. She's using more lighting, and stronger lighting on her pieces. And she's, painting more. I would say she's shifted to a slightly more European style, which is very punchy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's been painting more than me because I've been so distracted with my writing this year. What I find is that as I go on with the writing, it's going to get more into a rhythm with me, and then I'll get my painting time back, essentially. Although Diablo is going to steal our painting time right now. But once we fall out of this video game, then I'll have more time to paint. I'm actually looking forward to the new 40K. They finally have a tentative pre-order. Everybody thinks the pre-order is going to go up on June 10th, and I'm a Tyranids girl. So I've decided that I'm going to buy the base box and get some bugs, because I like some of those bugs a lot. The big bugs. I like big bugs, and I cannot lie, folks. David finds us. He's like, you hate insects in real life. I'm like, yes, but I can have my fantasy world, thank you. So then I have to decide what color to paint them, but I'm kind of like figuring it out. But yeah, I can't wait for the Tyranids box. So that's coming out. Just the box releases right after my birthday, so it's actually a perfect birthday present for myself. All right, so I want to kind of look at this and see. I need to touch up her hair. I need to put the eyebrows on. You can see that we don't really have eyebrows. I'm going to do really thin ones. I'm going to grab I need one of my reddish colors, either Auburn Shadow or Mahogany Brown. I'm going to go Auburn Shadow and probably add just a little bit of walnut to it. But yeah, I've got a couple of cool models that I've started to prep to work on next, because Anubis is, sitting here all but done. I did take a break from Anubis, though, because he's... I need to work on Andy Pieper's piece, so he's just, all he needs is basing, and then he's pretty good. He's done to the point I want him done. He's sitting up here, but then what I'll be working on, I wanted to say, I am planning, despite Diablo, and Overwatch League, I am planning to stream tomorrow. We'll be working on a Reaper figure. So we're working on this Chronoscope figure from Andy Pieper, and I'm finishing this to give to Andy at ReaperCon. So, oh yeah, I couldn't decide. Yeah, see, that's what always kept me from doing the Tyranids. Bust with armor. Oh, the lion lady. The lion shoulder plate lady. No, I ran into I got really burned out on that one, Bryce. I had to put her aside for a bit. I wasn't sure how I wanted to do the cloth on her. And also, that was a lot of Sky Earth NMM. I really grounded out on it. Like, I pushed through it, and I pushed through it, and I pushed through it, and then I lost momentum. As we were talking about earlier in the stream, momentum is important. And so, essentially, I stopped. I ground to a halt. And then with Sky Earth, it's so punishing. It's just like a lot. There's just a lot. And I have to do the entire back of the lion still. So for now, she's boxed. I always wanted to do Tau, but man, all those little lined armor plates, like, but I always thought of Tau with like kind of a Chinese art, like classical Chinese art, like line style, freehanded, like something cool like that on Tau would be cool. Like take it either Japanese, like with really intricate, like cool freehand. I don't know. I had kind of thought like that on Tau, but it was never a conviction, so I never acted on it. But I think I'll do a modification on High Fleet Leviathan, but I'm not going to go with the white. I want to do the purple, but not the white, and I want to change it a bit. But anyway, I have a Tyrannid color scheme in my head, and I want to execute on it, at least on one big bug for Golden Demon. I just need to decide on the bug. I've been very disappointed in the last couple Golden Demons where there were not many Tyrannids, because of course they didn't have any new releases for a while. Now we'll probably see more. Oh, and that's the other thing about my color schemes. I tend to go purple and gold a lot, and I also love the secondary color triad. Although this lady's a complementary color scheme. But I love green, orange, purple, and David hates it, so auto-corrupt, yeah. But yeah, I haven't painted, I mean, I've got my Sisters of Battle, but I'm painting them very canon, because I just really love the red armor and black cloth color scheme. So the Tyrannids, I think I can get a little bit more wild on. And I always liked my Nids. Like, it's a horde army, and let's face it, I'm never going to finish it, but I guess I could try to find a good 40k group around here to play the new edition. If I really, really wanted to. It would be nice to play again. Richard. All right, so I added some walnut to Auburn Shadow, and it makes this beautiful dark reddish brown color. So but yeah, I like the I kind of want to paint them almost like similar to how, I don't know, I've got kind of a blue and purple, a really pale icy blue and purple color scheme in mind for my Tyrannids. I used to do them black and green. So like green over most of their bodies, and then black for the carapace with some funky highlighting. But I think I'm past that color scheme. Maybe I'll do a proof of concept on actually paint my Hormigaunt bust for the first time in like mega eons. Like, it's still sitting up there saying, "Rar, I would like you to paint me." Yeah, the Sisters of Battle are just good. All right, so I want to get this. It's a little bit thinner. The nice thing about the Auburn Shadow and the Walnut are both that they're high coverage. So when you've got a model like this where the brow is very well defined, really you just have to follow the line of that with your brush. And the biggest and most important thing is just to make sure you've got very little paint on your brush. So I now have an eyebrow, because you just want it to come off on that edge. And you're not painting the eyebrow so much because the sculptor has done the sculpt for you. You're just hitting the edge of it. You're just following the edge with your brush. There I went a little bit heavy-handed because the angle is so weird on this, so I'm going to touch it up. But yeah. Yeah, I think I would like to... I know that if I started playing 40k again, that I would paint more. I could probably strong-arm David into just doing a little bit, like, just a skirmish level game. Just like a unit. He's got, like, a bunch of chaos stuff. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird that I think I want to shift it. It's a good idea to change it up a little bit, Pendrake, because that's why I wanted to do Eldar, is because every Aspect Warrior squad is a different color. But for the Tyranids, I think I still want it to look coherent. And so I think that the key there is just to shift like different units, not necessarily to change the colors, but to shift it lighter or darker, or to take my purple more reddish orange even on the highlights, or take it colder. Like I think if I do that, if I shift back and forth the light and dark, and I go more reddish here or more indigo there, I think that could be fun. I think that could be a good way to still end up with a bunch of bugs that look like they belong together. Because the hive mind, they're going to belong together, while still giving me a little bit of variety. And also I'm thinking about doing some patterns, like some cool patterns and freehand on the, just like on the carapaces and stuff. I think that would be fun and give them some personality, and without like going too far from a given color scheme. So, all right, so just need to touch up that forehead on this side. So, and this side we've got an eyebrow. So really, it's just like take that and just like put that line in line. And if you mess it up, it's not a big deal. You can put a little bit of skin color below it or above it to trim it up. But that worked very well, actually. But yeah, I like the, hold on. Let's see here. There we go. So the color, I like the color of these. Let me get to the monsters. Monsters. Don't care about ultramarines. So I like these. I like the Tyranids. I like the way. So they've always done like kind of the reddish purple with the bone color, but I think I want to go away from that bone color and actually take it kind of a pale blue, and go with a dark purple like this. But I do like how they're switching it up. They're adding some oranges, right? That's the new Winged Hive Tyrant, by the way. This guy's really cool. So they are putting in different colors, right? The brain is actually like that cyan color, so that's pretty cool. Where's the big guy? They got some interesting, this guy. I really like the way the shell's done on this one. So they're going very reddish on their purple, and I'm thinking of going, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so pretty cool new monster. Rawr. Yeah, they're really cool. The new Tyranids are really good. They're really good. So I like it. And I like these new guys. These new guys with their big bio guns. I like those. So they are using some orange and teal on these, and I think it really helps the color scheme a lot, because they used to be just not that exciting, and I actually kind of like this color scheme for Leviathan. So yeah. Anyway, this is a big fat box, and I'm going to pre-order it as a present for myself. Yeah, I like that color scheme. I like that. I like the really dark but still reddish purple. Almost a blackberry color. All right. Now I want to just kind of, I think I'm going to do her eyes since we're here, since we're doing the face today. I think I'm going to use Cairnstone. You can always use any kind of grayed out off-white, and Cairnstone is actually pretty good. Weathered stone is also a good color. You can add a little white to it if you're working in 28, because you've got tiny eyes to bring out, but you don't want to go pure white with it. Not unless you have super micro eyes. It will always look wrong. Like, I would use pure white only on Tom Meyer eyeballs, his miniatures for Dark Sword, because they tend to be so tiny. Almost as good as Post-its. Almost. Maybe I'll buy some Post-its also, Bryce. That would be beyond. I'll have gone off the rails at that point, buying myself a whole new 40K box set and Post-it notes. That's super expensive. What's sad is that if you bought Post-it notes to equal the cost of the 40K box would still be bigger and give you more stuff. So that's just to put how expensive Post-it notes are in perspective there, folks. Mind blown, yes. Indeed, indeed. But yeah, I think it's time for me to, like, poke David into playing 40K with me. What do you guys think? That way I've got an in-house 40K player. I'll tell him that I just want him to, like, help me test my army. And since he's super fast, I'll have to, like, mostly get my stuff together before I tell him that I want him to play with me. Like, I'll have to prove that I'm committed before I ask him to play with me. Otherwise, I'll tell him, and, 2 days later, he'll have 2 fully assembled units, and he'll be, like, airbrushing them, and I'll be, like, have start to put together one model, right? That'll be me. That's Anne. And I don't know what it is, but somehow I seem to always go for the guys who are into chaos. Like, what is it with me? Of course, and now we're wrapped around full circle because I am chaotic good. We did discuss that. That's what I should do. We need to paint the chaos army that's chaotic good instead of chaotic evil. Make puppy dog guys at him and then destroy him in battle. It could be hard to destroy him versus Chaos Quindy, but I'll give it a try. Yeah, can 40K simulate a Diablo 4? No, Diablo 4, yeah, we see a trend now. Well, I am out to kick his butt in painting competitions eventually, so that's the thing for Kubla next year. We'll both be entering, so then it's on. Because the last time I entered, he hadn't entered that year, and I won. But now it's real. Now it's real. I have to choose a model carefully and execute perfectly, and try to try to exceed his mad basing skills, because David does have mad basing skills because he's willing to deal with more toxic substances and weird things than I am. Bi-monthly delivery of Post-it notes. I'm pretty sure that somebody does a swag box of Post-it notes. That's got to be out there. You've said it on the internet, Twisted Oma. Now it must be real. There's got to be a swag box of Post-it notes. Like, I'm gonna look it up. No, I don't have the love for her right now. Well, I guess that would be, though. If I finished her, you're right. That would be, like, the piece to take David out with. Okay, maybe I can get excited again about it, Bryce, if that's the goal. Yeah, see, that's the thing, Richard. And so for people like me who will otherwise prioritize, like, who have lots of other priorities, right? Let's face it, I have a lot of priorities in life. Especially in writing books is up there now. Just saying. Yes, I think you're right, Bryce. You're right. That is a competition piece, and if I can just figure out what I want to do with the freaking freehand, I could probably beat him with that one. But it's going to take a lot of effort, and boy, a lot of Sky Earth NMM. I am going to be allergic to Sky Earth after this. I don't want to ever do it again for a while. A fantasy chaotic good. Oh, Brett Amundsen, yeah. Yes, chaotic good army. Yeah, Brett's cool. All right, let's do eyeballs. Yeah, maybe I guess I could bring some GW to ReaperCon. Everybody would be like... I don't want to bring Anubis to ReaperCon, though. He's just a fun model for me. So, like, I guess if I finish something, maybe I'll just paint... I should paint one of my Sisters of Battle characters. I should just do a really good job on her. Although, I still really would like... I don't know. I want that Mouseling trophy at some point. I like the Mouseling trophy. But... Oh, you're going to bring Post-it notes. Bring Post-it notes to ReaperCon. I need to look it up. I need to... Let's see if there is a sticky note swag box Sticky note subscription box. They're stationary. Oh. Sticker. You can get sticker subscriptions. Subscription box of sticky notes. It seems like there are some. Like there's at least one that popped up, but not really, like you guys know. Yeah, it seems to be not just sticky notes. Oh. But Amazon gets my click. Does it exist? I don't like the lined one. Oh, I do not need reusable sticky notes. Yeah, really not. Oh, I need this, but boy, that's expensive. Ah, sticky notes. Why do you taunt me? Oh yeah, my Post-it note collection. Except I go through them, so I don't have much of a collection, Zachariah. Yeah, learning is hard, and that model. I'll see if I can dig her out and show you guys where I stopped. I stopped on the arm with the sword, Bryce. It overwhelmed me, and I just like that, and I looked at the backside and realized that nothing was done. And unlike David, I refused to paint the model with a frontal light source so I could leave the back mostly in shadow. And even if I did that, then I'd have to figure out how to paint Sky Earth in shadow. And that's just a nope. I noped out. I noped out of it. Let's just face it. Well, I don't think I'm going to be... Okay, I could take... It's going to be a 3.5 day or a 3-day drive to ReaperCon for me each way, Pendrake. Which means I'm not going to go early because I'm already going to be missing a ton of work. So I'm not going to go early, and I'm not going to stay late. So that means not making special paint colors. Like, I would have to beg Reaper to do it for me, and I know that they're slammed already. I mean, if we're not getting our fast palettes restocked, then we're in trouble. That's what I'm saying here. So I don't want to add to that load. If I wanted to do it, I could maybe do it next year. I could essentially arrange to fly to Reaper like a month before ReaperCon and offer to help out in the paint department. So pretty much resume my old job for a few days. And in that time also make a special color. But this year, it wasn't going to happen. We had too much going on. We have way too much going on this year. So there we go. So just that little stripe of the white, and you can see that you can see that it's light enough to be an eye, but it's not like glaringly white. Now we do have white elsewhere, pure white on this model. Could we get away with white on the eyes because of that? No, we can't. Your eyes just aren't pure white. They just aren't, and your subconscious mind knows it. So when you see a pure white eyeball, it sticks out like it's unnatural. Oh, the Lotus Orange, yeah. Yeah, it's a good color. The problem with coming in and reduxing my old job for a few days is that I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss making all the colors. Oh no. So I blurfed this eyeball, but that's okay. I'm going to double down on my blurf because I want to get that white in. So now I'm going to touch it up. So I'm going to come back in with walnut on top. And then I'm going to come in and get it with skin. That's bleached linen, I'd say, is as light as I would go. Bleached linen or linen white. Your gut should tell you if it's too light. Like when you look at it, if the eyes seem to stick out a lot. There we go. So now I went back into that with some walnut. Now I'm going to go and touch up the area under the brow with some skin color. Yeah, but if you look at the model and the eyes just stick out to you, then it's probably too light, but it also depends on, like I said, on the size of the eye spots, because the smaller the eye, the more you can get away with that. Because you need it to stand out if you have very little area. trying to remember what I've got a bust lined up to start soon. So I'm trying to get that eye defined here, and I need to, it's just messy on this side of the face. You all know how that goes. When you've got that off side of the face, it's really hard to reach. Then I need the eyebrow again because I lost it. Huh, fair enough, Butts, fair enough. But yeah, I hate this. This is my most hated angle for face because I can hit this side fine, but there's just not enough room to really do the other side. There we go. Now we got the brows back. I'm going to use my walnut to get the pupils in, the pupil / irises in. I'm going to give her dark eyes. Yeah, I'll probably give the Space Marines to David, unless he doesn't want them, but he does use them in, cuts them apart for parts sometimes. I have no interest in Ultramarines. I have no interest in Space Marines. Space Wolves are the only Space Marine I've ever liked. And Sisters of Battle, if you count them. As far as Imperium goes, I'm a Xenos kind of girl. Go up from the bottom. Approach the eye from the bottom so that you can stop your brush with the top of the eyelid and drop that pupil on there. This side is a lot harder. The eye is not as wide. Do the best you can. That one needs a little work. There we go, that's better. Can't really see that one as well, but we're okay there. Hey, Roger. All right. That is fair. And I like the face a lot better now. I'm getting a lot more light in there. I can try to do a reflected light in those eyes. I don't know if it's going to work. Unless I can get a really tiny speck in there, it's probably not worth it. It can really help to light up the eyes to do a reflection if you can manage it, but in 28, it can be punishing, and often if you've got your pupil situated right, you're just going to blow it out with the addition of a catch light, and then you're going to be sad because then you have to repaint the eyes. So often I won't do a catch light these days in 28mm eyes. I'll just leave them as they are. Which may be the lazy way to do it, but it's also the not have to paint the eyes 15 more times way to do it. So yeah, just making sure that the bottom lid is defined. I'm going to grab my hair color and make sure that I've touched up the ends of these hair strands a bit. I mean, that's fair. I like to have an angry face. I like to have a face with emotion every once in a while. Twistedoma. A lot of minis have very neutral faces, which is, you know, somewhat so, you know, if you want to paint them one way or the other, you can do so. But I like a model with emotion every once in a while. It's fun. It's a nice change. But yeah, I mean, all's fair in mini painting, Richard. I won't judge you for doing stuff with a line, with a marker, if that's what you need to do. I mean, I'll always advocate learning to paint eyes because it's just another tool in your toolbox. And, you know, learning to paint fine detail is something that you can work on. Like, even if you never get awesome at it, like, if you build the skill, you'll get better at it. I'm just going to get a little bit of a blush color and lip color mixed up now. So we're going to take our skin color. I'll probably take, not the base, no, maybe I will take the base skin color. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of Dragon Red. 9002 Deep Red is actually my, like, chosen preferred color for this, but I'll always mix my blush colors by mixing in the skin tone. It's the way to make a color that works. This red is just not mixed up. Come on, Dragon Red. Yeah, Deep Red or Dragon Red are probably my favorite reds to use for this. If you use a brighter red, you're going to get more of a kind of strawberry, like brighter pink. And that that's good if you're painting somebody really young, because it tends to youthen up the face. Jeez, this still just does not want... This paint is taking forever to get in solution. More shaking. Obviously, I haven't touched my Dragon Red for a long time. There we go. There we go. All right. Start a little dark and then we'll add white. Yep. Yep, it's always practice. I mean, if you don't ever try to paint fine detail, you'll never get better at it. And sure, your ceiling may not be as high as some people's who have really good fine motor or develop really good fine motor, but you still can get to a decent level where you can hit, you know, fairly fine detail. Unless you've got like something like nerve damage, you know, then your ceiling may be not as high. But I think I need a little bit more. I need to actually thicken this up a little. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of my skin colors, and I'm gonna add another drop of red because I have a little bit too much water in this for it to be where I want it. It's a good level of thinness to add a little bit of blush here. A hint of pink, maybe around the nose, but it's not dark enough for the lips, so now if you have a mental growth attitude, if you have a growth attitude toward it, I doubt you'll lose that, but though you may prioritize growth in a different area for a while. All right, there we go. Now it's thicker. And to get a highlight on this pink, for the lips, I'll just add white. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you do that for models you really care about, and if you paint armies, then you don't do it for all of them. That's why, I mean, I kind of like Tyranids because I can just make their eyes red or yellow or orange or something. I don't need to paint pupils on all of them. So now there's that dark pink going on to the lower lip. So yeah, I will be on tomorrow. I will be painting Andy's model. I'll probably do the black because I want to do some freehand. I think I want to do a stylized rose on the back of this. But before I do that, I need to get this black figured out and I need to highlight it. I'm going to grab some pure white and mix a highlight of that pink. Yes, there's my twitch.tv/paintingbig. I will be on tomorrow around 3:30 USA Central Time as usual. Despite Overwatch League, despite Diablo. I enjoy my computer gaming more if I don't do it as much. Alright, so I'm going to mix a pretty pale highlight color because I want to catch that lip because lips are a little bit shiny usually. So I want to catch that highlight. And I'm going to throw a little bit of water into it. Not a lot though. I don't want it to just be a dot when I put it on the lips, but I don't want it to be, yes, yep, PB. I will be on tomorrow afternoon. We'll work on that mini for Andy. I want to get that done for ReaperCon, so. It's simple, but then I need to do the wooden parquet floor design that I have in mind, so we might block that in tomorrow as well. I might do the black, highlight the black really quick. Shouldn't take too long, and then do the block in the flooring. And then I'm going to feel happier. I'm going to be able to see that I'm closer to done with it. All right, let's see here. I want to make sure the line of the mouth doesn't get messed up because the lip color came up a bit onto that upper lip. I just need a tiny bit of this pale pink. And see if I can nail that center of that lip. Just a little bit of a highlight. You don't need a whole lot. And I feel like I almost need a little more red. Sometimes you just, you feel like you lose a bit of the red when it's just such a tiny feature. But yeah, I should be on streaming every Saturday this month. Because I missed 2 last month, so I want to make sure I don't lose that. There are things I need to get done, so. And then I should, after I finish Andy's model, I need to decide if I'm going to try to finish something for ReaperCon, and then we'll be working on that for Saturday streams probably. Yeah. Swords can be one of the easiest things to start with on NMM. Swords and, honestly, chainmail. Just because it usually just takes a simple highlight. I still need to finish up this sword up here. But, yeah, I've just been swapping around. I've been really kind of dodging around on this mini a bit. Painting what I feel like, really. There we go. A little bit more red on the lip. I feel like that's pretty good. Now I'm going to thin down that red a bit more. 2 things for ReaperCon? Cool, Bryce. Cool. Are they Reaper models or are they other? I think we're good. So that face looks so much better than it did when we started. So much. I definitely want to paint a bust because because I've had all these 75s I've been working on and I'm done with them. I guess I could try to get Orky done, Mr. Comic Book. Could try to get this guy done. Although since it's in a totally different style than I've done before, I'm like dubious whether I'll be able to finish him. Plus he's huge. He's just huge. Yeah, you don't have to enter Reaper. I mean, a lot of people feel like obligated to enter a Reaper model, but when it comes down to it, I just like to see a bunch of different stuff. And with so many different companies putting out so many cool models, you know, there's always like something in like 54 millimeter or 72 or bust or whatever that I haven't seen, right? And that's the fun part for me. I like seeing models that people have painted that I totally have never seen before, or that I saw like once and like never saw a painted version, and now I see a painted version. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. It'd be cool if you did Zachariah, but if you can't, you can't. I won't begrudge you a sticky note. Maybe I should just say you have to pay me a sticky note tax if you don't enter. Oh yeah. David style, Diamond Stone style. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm much happier with the face now. It looks so much better, and it feels done to me now. So great. Yay. It just needed more light. It was seriously not looking finished to me. It's also it's just a lot more harmonious with everything else that we've done. I think next time I'll either work on the blue or I'll work some more on the metals. I do feel like I want to do maybe black and white here. Or I do black and I do white for all of the fine detail. So maybe we block in these guys. And then we do white for the whatever emblems we're going to do. And then we'll be heraldic because we'll be using colors next to metals. I always wanted to paint Bretonians, but man, they would have driven me nuts. Okay, there we go. We got that. Yeah, well, yeah, just doing it on a bunch of different models and that scale. I think I enjoy heraldry more on a bigger scale, larger scale model, Pendrake. Like, I always liked the feel of the Bretonian army, and when you really saw one that was done up nicely with some heraldry, it was just like, it was stand out on the table. It would look fantastic. But it's just a lot. It was just a lot. I get overambitious sometimes because I can imagine the way the army would look. But actually, my favorite Kochi person was talking about this the other day. So there are people who definitely like have a context mindset where they look, you know, they're kind of looking at the past a lot and they're like extrapolating their current life based on what has happened in the past. And then there are people who have a futuristic mindset. And everybody's got a little bit of both, right? Everybody looks back at some points in their life and looks forward at others. But some folks are more one than the other. I have a lot more futuristic in me than I do context. So I'm always imagining like the way the future could be, but then you get stuck on the action points, right? It's like the way that it's great that the future is there and you can imagine it and you get all happy about it, but you also have to take steps to realize that future, right? So part of me always knew that although I could see the beautiful Bretonian army in my head, the steps to get there would be too much. They would kill me. I'm the opposite, Richard. I actually, the heraldry would kill me after a while because there would be so much of it, but I love painting animals and horses included. Love horses. But yeah, so we'll do some heraldry on this shield here. Oh yeah, Duke Gerarder's fantastic. He's just a great model. Like, them were the days. Them were the days when we got, like, I've got to say, when I was, like, creating the Crusaders army, like, because I wrote the army book and created a bunch of the characters, some of those characters are still my favorite models that Reaper ever came out with, and Duke Gerarder's one of them. And he just paints so well. Like, he's just a great model and a great sculpt. And sometimes they just want to paint themselves. Sometimes they just paint themselves. Logan Grimnar from the Space Wolves was always like that for me. Like one of the older sculpt. Like I painted that for eBay, I think twice because I painted it the first time and it was so easy. It like painted it itself. So I did another one. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes it's like, it'd be like that where the model's just like whew, effortless. It just comes together. So I think we are at the end of the stream, folks. But I'm so much happier with her now. Like the face made a huge difference. Like getting that face in line made a huge difference. I feel like I do need a little bit more on the hair now. But that's fine. We've got time for that. Like I like her hair in general, but I just feel like I need to bring more of it up. Because it's very linear hair. Like 3D sculpting is sometimes it's just like all like dreadlocks almost, and you gotta mess with it. So yeah, I will be on tomorrow painting that Andy model. Maybe we'll talk about some of the stuff I might paint for ReaperCon, and I've got to think about that orc, or if I'm gonna do. There's another model. There's a Chimera model that I was thinking about painting for ReaperCon. She's also big. She is locked out of the room, Pendrake, because David is home today. And so Diablo 3 currently there are dozens of tiny screams coming from the hallway. And I didn't want to close his door because I knew she'd want to hang out with him because he's home and he's never home right during the day. But I had to put a barrier up somewhere so that you guys wouldn't hear the computer game. So I closed my door. So if she's asking anyone for walkies, she's asking him. Although she's probably just like sleeping. Because without my vocal cues, I don't know that she gets it. But yes. So we had lots of keeks at the front of the stream, but no keeks since I started it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. On Monday, we're gonna start a new model. We're gonna start one of the elfuses. I think it's the male elf. I think it's the male wood elf dude. I have both of them sitting next to the sink, so I remember to wash them. So yeah, we'll start a new model. I'll put aside Necromancer dude until I figure out what I want to do with him. We may go back to him if I get one of those bog skeletons and decide to do the expanded basing on him. I may do that, but I'm not betting on it at this point. I'll just keep him over there and he'll be kind of sitting in my subconscious mind. And we'll make a decision as we go. But yeah, happy June, everybody. My favorite season, summer. We are in summer. I like walk by when Kiki and I walk by the school, like yesterday, they had sports day or something, right? Where they do the big party day where they just sit and like have things like tug of war and water balloons and crazy stuff. They were all doing that yesterday. The kids there's just this immense screaming coming from the big field we walk next to because they're all out there doing their school stuff. And Kiki's just like, what are they doing? But there were no balls, so she didn't want to go running over. Whenever they're playing ball over there, she wants to go and play with them. She thinks the balls are all for her. She did discover a big, like this size ball, like an inflated like one that must have been from one of the kids, and she was playing with it with her paws. It was really funny. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. I hope to see some of you tomorrow keeping me company while I work on my stuff. All right? And hopefully you will work on your stuff too. And yes, much love, Quindy. Thank you for herding the cats as always. Bryce, it was really good to see you on. I always like chatting with you. So, alrighty. Oh, first day of hurricane season. That's not so good. But yes, thanks all, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.